10,000 plus dead, 250,000 infected, entire countries on lockdown, empty shelves, panic buying. But wait, Trump called it the Chinese virus? Now we're really mad.
You keep calling this the Chinese virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
Make coronavirus Chinese again.
The coronavirus is a Chinese virus, no matter what they're telling you. It originated in China, was able to spread to the rest of the world because the Chinese government hid the truth of what was happening early in the outbreak from the rest of the world. They lied about it.
A study published in March indicated that if Chinese authorities had acted 3 weeks earlier than they did, the number of coronavirus cases could have been reduced by 95% and its geographic spread limited. Media. Boo-hoo, stop being mean to China. China lied to the world 2 months ago, claiming there was no human-to-human transmission. Media. It's not China's fault. Stop being mean to China. Chinese laboratories identified a mystery virus as a highly infectious new pathogen by late December last year, but they were ordered to stop tests, destroy samples, and suppress the news. Media. It's not China's fault. Stop being mean to China. Americans, I'm worried about the health of my family, my job security, making rent and avoiding a recession. Journalists. Okay. Journalists. Trump said China virus again. The virus was allowed to spread because China covered it up for over a month. Even as the threat of a global pandemic loomed large, China threatened to withhold medical supplies, which they have a near monopoly over, from the United States. China's foreign ministry spokesman suggested the US military was to blame for coronavirus. This claim was then embraced by official Communist Party mouthpieces. Media. It's Trump's fault. Stop being mean to China.
With people calling it the Wuhan flu or the Wuhan virus or the China virus. This is a virus that came from the territory of China, but came from bats. This is a bat virus, not a China virus.
Wait, 6 weeks ago, you all said it was racist to say it came from bats, while calling it the Chinese virus. Now it's racist to call it the Chinese virus. Like what, next month is it going to be racist to call it the coronavirus? They're even going back and changing Wikipedia entries about the Spanish flu to try and claim it was never called the Spanish flu. Still just 1 coronavirus death in Russia and 0 in Singapore. 2 countries that closed their borders back in January. Meanwhile, Germany, Denmark, Canada, and numerous other countries are finally closing their borders 2 months later. Too little, too late. Compare the countries that imposed border controls early on to those that didn't. Open borders spread viruses. But from the very beginning, the World Health Organization repeatedly ordered countries not to stop the sacred international flow of people. Coronavirus now in the UK because the relentless mass movement of people is apparently more important than stopping a global pandemic. Oh look! January! And look where we are now. People from Italy, Iran and China are still arriving in the UK. No checks, nothing, allowed straight in. 90% of the COVID transmission in Seattle is from a single introduction in late January from China. The New York intro is from Iran and San Diego intro from Europe. The infection in Italy spread from 2 Chinese tourists who visited Rome. The infection spread in Iran from Chinese migrant laborers. Thanks, open borders.
A what? Oh, fuck.
Back in February, the mayor of Florence came up with a brilliant plan to fight coronavirus. Oh, my bad. Not the virus, the racism caused by the virus, which was obviously way more important. He started a nationwide campaign encouraging Italians to hug Chinese people in the street in order to, quote, stem the hatred. During one of the stunts to promote the campaign, Italians even physically removed the Chinese man's mask. The idiot mayor also staged a photo op of himself hugging an awkward-looking Chinese man. Plot twist, now Italy has the highest number of coronavirus deaths in the entire world. They'll show this video to children in the future in history class about how political correctness killed an entire country. Now they're not racist because they're dead. The streets of Florence are now deserted. Italy is under martial law lockdown. But racism BTFO! Trudeau condemns racism linked to coronavirus outbreak.
Let me be clear. There is no place in our country for discrimination driven by fear or misinformation. This is not something Canadians will ever stand for.
Many of the migrants we already brought in are completely ignoring orders to stay indoors. Others are doing this. Others reacted to being put under quarantine by waving ISIS flags and trying to burn down their own refugee camps. And London's more diverse areas aren't really practicing good social distancing.
Oh my god! Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh... Hey, we just want to get our cereal! We just want milk! Oh my god!
Hashtag diversity is a strength. Celebrities and social media influencers are some of the worst impacted by the coronavirus. Not because they've got coronavirus, but because they're not getting enough attention. Sam Smith is crying because he's had to self-isolate in his £12 million mansion. Poor baby. There's also this weird kind of COVID signalling where people seem overly keen to claim that they've got the virus. Catching a dangerous virus and then bragging about it doesn't make you hard, it makes you a fucking idiot. But not as much of an idiot as this future Darwin Award winner.
It's Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time right now.
Coronavirus challenge, which involves licking a toilet seat or a doorknob. Coronavirus BTFO. That's like trying to defeat the spread of hepatitis A by literally eating shit. Some celebrities sang John Lennon's Imagine.
Imagine all the people
living for today.
Coronavirus BTFO. The irony of singing a song about open borders after a disease has killed thousands of people because of open borders. Hindu activists in the Indian capital of New Delhi held a party to celebrate finding a COVID cure. The cure is to drink cow piss. Coronavirus BTFO. Millennials and college students reacted to desperate pleas to practice social distancing and avoid congregating in large groups by socializing in congregations of large groups.
If I get corona, I get corona. At the end of the day, I'm not going to let it stop me from partying.
Like, it's really messing up with my spring break.
This virus ain't that serious.
Get drunk before everything closes.
We having day parties all day.
We're just living for the moment.
City and country-wide quarantines, yeah, good luck with that. But to be fair, adults are working from home. No, they're congregating in huge numbers at the beach. Teenagers are avoiding universities to get drunk at St. Patrick's Day parties.
Are you worried that gatherings like this will potentially spread the virus?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not worried. I know it will. Like, it's not it's not a question. That's not a question, because it will definitely spread the disease.
I have a compromised immune system, but I'm still only 21. But I'm not even worried because I just take supplements and like I self-medicate, so it's fine.
This calls for drastic measures.
You don't want to stay? Oh, absolutely. Is that when you're starting it off? Okay.
Fuck! Meanwhile, in Benidorm,
it says there's a flu that we just all need to get over. Have a beer. Happy days.
Barry Stanton, is that you? Eco-mentalists are absolutely loving it. Citizens of Wuhan can finally hear birds chirping after years. Venice's water canals are clear and full of fish, and you can even see the Tatra Mountains from Krakow because the smog has lifted. This isn't an apocalypse. It's an awakening. 300,000 likes. You've just watched your parents die an agonizing death in front of your face. But hey, at least you can hear the birds chirping. Billie Eilish pleaded with her fans to practice social distancing to stop coronavirus the day after she performed a concert to thousands of people and did this. What upset a lot of Americans more than the potential of millions of dead Americans was the possibility that their favourite sports ball tournament might get cancelled. Today should have been a day of college basketball games and a few cold beers. Instead, coronavirus stole it. Imagine explaining to a D-Day veteran that sports were cancelled because of a virus. Imagine explaining to that same veteran that you're whining on Twitter about not being able to watch a basketball game on TV. But surely the biggest casualty of coronavirus in terms of postponed events was the cancellation of drag queen story time. Every cloud.
Move, bitch, you got coronavirus. Ooh, shit, You got coronavirus.
The stock market's totally collapsed. No, not my stockerinos. Wee big line go down. Which, aside from Wall Street multimillionaires and billionaires who'll probably be okay, could lead to retirement funds being wiped out, small businesses destroyed, global depression and massive unemployment. But according to leftists who are celebrating, that's okay, because Orange Man bad. Cringe Conservative Inc. isn't reacting much better. Shutting down private businesses is overreach. Shutting down restaurants in a city of 4 million people is criminal. There are hundreds of thousands of people who don't have food at home, who don't know how to cook. Grocery stores aren't built to feed 100% of us 100% of the time.
Okay.
Drive-thru and Uber Eats cannot make up the difference. People will not comply with this tyrannical shit once they get hungry. Insanity! No, not the hecking Restorinos. I need my overpriced bugs. I can't survive on my own. No! Don't panic, say all the big city LA and New York conservatives who are panicking because their favourite lobster restaurants are closing and they can't cook. These are the same conservatives who quietly support mass immigration because they need cheap foreign labour ethnic minorities to prepare all their food. Total man babies. Only a complete idiot wouldn't have any food at home. All these rugged individualist conservatives don't seem to be very rugged or individualist if they're one missed gourmet meal away from wetting the bed. Coronavirus is a huge threat. So cover your face when you go outside, don't shake hands with anyone, stay at home as much as you can, go outside only when needed. And this will help prevent the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus? The it's just the flu bros have been totally embarrassed.
It will go away, just stay calm.
But let's not be too defeatist. At least for the time being, both China and South Korea appear to have beaten it back. Their cases are declining day after day. China is somewhat getting back to normal. The situation is not hopeless, which makes all the drama queens on Twitter all the more annoying. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's not comparable to a world war. You're being asked to wash your hands, sit on your sofa and watch Netflix. You're not being asked to storm the beaches of Normandy under bombardment from a Nazi war machine. You're not being asked to live under the constant fear of having your house bombed to shit every fucking night. So shut the fuck up and stop making the panic worse than the actual virus itself. And for God's sake, can we focus on what matters? We're fighting a deadly global pandemic. Can we just shut up about racism for 5 fucking minutes? It's absolutely crucial for you to help me fight the war on free speech by supporting me via Subscribestar, link in description, and also signing up for my free newsletter at summit.news/newsletter.